Hello and welcome back. Now we're going to tackle the project activity groups. We have the project initiation activity group. And there you will see that we have a range of 10 different activities that are focused for this project. What happens when you have a project or any activities that we have in life, you have people and you have processes. We're going to tackle the first 3 points with the people or the project team. P3.express and most project management style will have a focus point, the project manager. But with P3.express, we'll start with the project sponsor. You're going to appoint a project sponsor. You need someone who has a high level in the organization who's receiving this project, and someone who has also enough contact with the decision makers, executive level, let's say. And this person will be the sponsor for the project. What happened throughout the project manager doesn't have that much time to focus on the strategic point of the project, what other things are going around within the organization. This is where the sponsor comes as a crucial person in the project management team, and they help running the high-level decision-making, touching on the strategic points, and making sure that resources are available and for the project itself. They are themselves a senior level person and or an executive person. They have enough power to make things happen and help the team to move forward. As you just heard, the second point that will be good for the team is to have a project manager. Hopefully you are the project manager. But the project manager doesn't have to be a technical person. If you're too technical, you have tendency to micromanage because you know how to do every little thing in the project. It may happen, but you have to keep your distance, and as a project manager, you have to stay like a generalist. You are really there to facilitate the project activities. Let's say you would call yourself the Chief Facilitating Officer. What happened is why you do not necessarily need to be technical. Your project management experience and your project management skills do not define in which industry you will run a project or in which industry you have to be focused on to run a project. You see many organizations will focus on the technical aspect of project manager, but actually they should focus on the project management skills of a project manager. After that, you have the initiation key team members. These are the team members that hopefully will stay throughout the project, available, accessible. But these people are working together to build the foundation to know, can we go on with the project or not? They play a very key role in order to make sure that throughout this initiation process or group of activity, we are sure that we are making sense of what we can or cannot do for this project. So, as I mentioned, you want to keep these people involved throughout the project and after the project initiation. Once you have all this, you start tackling how do we get through the process of running this project. Can we make this project, because you're at the initiation phase, we're going to stay at high level information. The high level information are to make sure that you don't go to the details of the project. You just want to stay at a level where it's manageable enough to know with this information that we have, we are confident enough that we can move on and go with this project. For that, A04 in P3.express is tackling the project description. The project description is a sense to make sure that the group that you have, the team there, and the organization have a common understanding, initiation common understanding, an initial common understanding, let's say, of the project, of what is possible, and where we can go from there. In the project description, you will find different elements. The project title for sure. It helps you to categorize the project for your organization. But you also will find the purpose of the project. Why this project? Why this project for this organization? Then if you break down this why and understand it completely, you can develop the second point, which is the benefits of this project. What are the benefits of this project? After this project is done, what are the benefits that our organization will get from this project? The benefits will help you to have that overview, a high level, how the strategy of the organization and the benefits from this project will determine the key elements that are helping this project to be considered a worthy project for us. But linking the benefits to what has to be done for this project, you're going to land with the requirements. Quality requirements or requirements for the project itself. What do you need for this project to be considered a successful project? What are the points necessary based on what you understand from the project that will help when they are together as requirements to help you understand that the project is completed successfully. Let's say you're buying a house. You need a place, open air, you want to be in the city, you want a place to enjoy. There might be different requirements. They are not the details of what you want from the house itself, not the deliverables, what you expect to receive once you receive this house, but the higher element requirements. This is really fulfilling the requirements for my house, my family, or if you live alone, for your house, for someone who live alone. Now, once you have the requirements, you're going to make sure that you have all your team understanding how these requirements are satisfying the project, but also who do you need with you. That we talk about a little bit, where you have the stakeholders part. The stakeholders, you can say already, you have the sponsor, the project manager, the key team members, or specialists or consultant. We'll call them consultants, but people that you will consult or ask for a piece of advice to make sure that they help you to build up this case to see if you can go on with this project or not. People that you will need later on, if you can define approximately the interests, the power, and the view of these different people, that helps you to build up the stakeholder section of the project description. One person or group of people that you can have in the stakeholder is an end user representative. Mostly if you have to hand up something to the end user. Then there's a bottom section that can be determined later. Maybe it's not fully defined yet. It's the timing and the budget of the project. Budget means how much it will cost to run this project, and the timing, when do we expect this project to end. Most likely for a project, you will have a beginning and an end, but once you evaluate all this together, you might say, sorry, we can have all this, all the requirements that you want, but we need more time. Or in that frame of time, we can have only these requirements that you would like to have for this project. You move further. From the requirements, if you look at section 5 of the project initiation activity group, you identify and you plan the deliverables. Remember, from the requirements, you may define what your deliverables are. You're not going too much into the details. For that house that you want for yourself and your family, the deliverables might be, we have 3 kids and we want 4 bedrooms, 1 for us, 1 for each kid. You might also say, this is my budget. I don't want a house that is more expensive than this amount. These are really coming from a house for your family and yourself that is affordable, that is nice, and comfortable. And then you have your deliverables that are the number of rooms, how much is the budget, maximum, do you need a garden or not. So really those are things that you receive. They are delivered to you. And from these deliverables, you can make a deliverable map. So what we like to use is a mind map. Let's say you start with a center point, house for family, and then you have rooms. Then you have room for John, room for Mary, and then so on. You may even ask, you want an office, if you have a home office. What happens is you're trying to put what is in your mind on paper or visually, so you can build that mind map that will give you a deliverable map. What are we expecting as deliverables once this project is completed? To plan the deliverables, you may use two different methods. So you have all this list of deliverables you would like to receive. You may have the dependency method in construction work. It's very hard until technology allows to have a to build something without foundation. So you have a dependency. First, you have to go through the process of having a foundation. And if we go even before that, if the project allows, you may have to present a blueprint, have it accepted, then build the foundation. You have the sides, then the roof. There are many things that you cannot do without another one, so they depend on each other. You also have the priority method when you're planning your deliverables. And the priority method, make sure that you prioritize what is essential in order to ensure that these deliverables are acceptable, but also that this project is confirmed and conform through according to what is required. An example for priority projects are mostly the IT development projects or design thinking projects. What you will discover, there you can have a prototype, you can build it up, construct, redo, and decide, okay, good. This is probably important for us. We're going to let this drop. This is not necessary. And then we move on and we build up the priority list. So what we use in that sense to show the plan of the deliverables, you may have the two well-known methods, which is a task board, or in the common word, people try to use Kanban as an example, where you have a log and most likely work in progress and something is being done. So you go across the board, you have the different tasks, and you see what is going on until it's completed and done. You also have, for the dependency, most likely a critical path method. What do I need throughout that process of the timing I have? And what is critical in order to get to the result I need? And there, the project managers in the room will say, we'll use a Gantt chart. Most likely, you see this throughout something that looks like a table with different rows, the dates on top, and we know in January we start with this until March. As of February, we start with the second point. So they are dependent from each other, related, and you start one, then you start the other one. The question that comes in mind when I'm mentioning both of these is P3.express agile? Is it predictive? We'll touch on that a little bit later on, but you have to understand that P3.express is a method that can be adapted to either using the agility of the project requirements or the predictive part of the project requirement. If we move from that step 5, where now we have a greater view, the project description, which was project description A04, we have now our deliverable identified. The deliverables are identified. We plan the deliverables, and we're still staying at a high level view, helicopter view, because we're in the initiation phase. We made our plan, we identified, and then now we have to make sure, can we go on with all the potential risk that may happen? It is a crucial step in project management to identify your risk. And what we call risk is something that may or may not happen throughout the project. Once it's happened, once the risk happened, this is an issue. So you have to probably solve it, drop it, or let it pass. But you identify the risk and you identify which response are we going to take. So the response is, what do I do if this situation happens? Later on, we'll see that risk is not fully risk only. That's why we'll have the document that we call the follow-up items. And there, we'll try to follow up anything that will affect the project, change it in a certain way. And we want to make sure that we're prepared for it. We'll not be prepared for everything, but we'll be prepared for it. If we combine A04, A05, and A06, these are activities that are best to be developed once you're in a workshop with the team, workshop with different experts, making sure you have different conversations. These documentations will help you to hold your focus, go back to what you saw, improve them throughout the project. Improving these processes and these documents will help the people to work better with a better focus. Then we land on A07, Project Initiation Peer Review. We don't hear that often, but a peer review, I think, for P3.express and within P3.express, it's a very crucial point, a gem, a diamond, because there you have someone outside of your project, a fresh set of eyes. Often we are going through an experience and we're looking for someone to give a piece of advice, but we don't find one. There it's laid out to you and it says, look for someone outside who hopefully has a project management experience. And this moment is mostly for you, project manager. It's mostly for you to see from the different activities you already taken so far, is there something that you miss? Is there something that you should go through? Did you review yourself and keep yourself in check? But also, you're reducing your biases. You're trying to be as objective as possible. If ever this project, you have to move on to another project, and this project lands into someone else's hand, that you're comfortable that this person will receive all the documentation, everything you worked on, and can move on without issue. The initiation peer review not only reduces biases, make it simple to transfer everything you worked on, but also the peer reviewer and the project manager learn from each other. If they are from the same organization, this is a chance for the organization to have a cross-learning that they probably would not have otherwise. You build your relationships, very important. You're learning from each other. You're making sure that you are a competent project manager that has low biases for this project and that you're taking the right directions. This step is not the only step. This step is not only at the initiation, but we'll see it coming back later on. So moving from this peer review, what you have is a higher level. We could call it the peer review of the project itself, but this is a make a go or no go decision for the project. You have all this information, you have your team, you assemble everything, you have your project description, your deliverable map, the plan, you plan the deliverables, you identify the potential follow-ups, risk, and you reviewed if your actions have been in good standing so far. Now you present all this information to the sponsor. And that's where we see the sponsor is a crucial person in the activities. The sponsor will decide if we can go or not go with this project. There might be many factors. The sponsor has a strategic view of what is going on within the company or the organization. They have a view of what's going on with the portfolio of the organization, the different projects that are going on, what is being offered as resources, how much effort and time they can put for this project. They will consult different people at a high level or at the level that is necessary, and they will come back to the project manager and say, yes, we can go on with this project. So the sponsor plays as this protector and funnels all the decision to give a go for this project or no go for this project. At this time of go, no go, that's probably a time, if you presented a proposal, that you're going to sign a contract with the outside stakeholder. Once you have this go, no go, it's a time to get everybody together to inform them for a networking event or a networking moment, and make sure that you have all parties, all major stakeholders involved into knowing that the project has received a go and we're going to move on. This is the kickoff, the project initiation kickoff. This is a very crucial moment because this happens only if you have a go. If you have a no-go, there stops the project. That might be a no-go, no more funding, no more budget, technology has changed, different parameters can happen. You just have to fill out the documentation, remember the project title, and this documentation will stay later on in the organization for lesson learned or for archiving the documents of this project. But once you have the go, you go through that networking moment, the team bonding moment, we would call it at the initiation level, where you make sure that everybody's involved and the sponsor hopefully can take the stand, have a word of communication, high level, to make sure, okay, we're going to go on with this project. Once you are done with the kickoff of the project, those are the people involved in the project. You also have a greater public, the organization. You want to also have a focus communication moment. This focus communication moment is part of the project manager's activities. It is the last step of the project initiation group of activities. And there, you want to make sure you communicate to the people of the organization what's going to be the effort required from the organization in order to run this project. You keep it simple, short, looking forward, just a communication. Let's say you have a project to relocate. You can say something like, hello everyone, in a few months we'll be relocating from where we are to an expected location. If you have the location and the date, at this date, this is in order to improve our services to our client, our community, and all necessary information that is basic to make people feel that this project is important for the organization, but also important. What is important in the focus communication, you might have other communications going on through the managers of the people working with you, hopefully already held. The moment of conversation with them has been done previously to get these people involved in your project, where their managers know that they will be working on your project. You also, and not formally, but it's an approach to invite people to give you feedback on this project, but also to give the other members feedback on the project. You want to avoid conflicts if there's another project that is similar that is running within the organization, but you also want to make sure that the people can come to you. Hopefully your last sentence in that communication is, if you have any question or any feedback, come to me, your project manager for this project. And people can come and tell you that they have a certain conflict, they would like to know more about it, or they don't find it's right, or something very positive.